The Korean Peninsula is on edge, its fate hanging in the balance as uncertainty grips the region. The border that divides North and South Korea is more than just a line on a map. It's a flashpoint, a place where history and tension collide every single day. Today, September 17, 2025, the tension is unmistakable. The air in Seoul is thick with anxiety, as breaking news alerts flash across screens and people glance nervously at the headlines. The world's attention is fixed on this small but crucial peninsula. Massive military drills, Ulchi Freedom Shield, are underway, uniting the US, South Korea, and Japan in a powerful show of force. Fighter jets roar overhead, their engines echoing across the land, a constant reminder of the military might assembled here. On the ground, troops march in perfect sync, their discipline and determination on full display. Every step is a message. The alliance stands strong, prepared for whatever may come. At sea, naval destroyers slice through the waves, conducting joint maneuvers that demonstrate not just military capability, but unity and resolve. The waters around the peninsula have become a stage for this high-stakes drama. This is no routine exercise. It's a direct response to North Korea's escalating missile tests and provocations. Each launch from the north sends shockwaves through the region, raising fears of a potential conflict. The drills send a clear message to Kim Jong Un. The alliance is ready for any threat, and will not be caught off guard. Military commanders from all three nations watch closely, their faces set with determination. For millions in Seoul, these maneuvers are both a shield and a source of anxiety. Living so close to the border, the risk of miscalculation is real, and the fear of sudden escalation lingers in every conversation, every glance at the news. Leaders in Washington, Seoul, and Tokyo insist these exercises are necessary deterrence, not provocation. They argue that only by showing strength can they hope to maintain peace and stability in the region, yet every move is scrutinized, every action could trigger a reaction. Intelligence officers and analysts work around the clock, monitoring every signal, every shift in posture, knowing that a single misstep could have global consequences. The world watches, holding its breath, wondering if this shield will hold, or if the next move will shatter the fragile peace that has lasted for decades. The uncertainty is palpable, and the stakes could not be higher. As dawn breaks over the DMZ, the sense of urgency remains. The future of the Korean Peninsula, and perhaps the world, hangs in the balance. The stakes have never been higher. To grasp today's crisis, you must understand the peninsula's painful past. Once unified, Korea was split after World War II. Soviets in the north, Americans in the south, turning a temporary line into a permanent divide. The North became a communist state under Kim Il-sung, the South, a US-backed democracy. Families were torn apart, and the Cold War's front line was drawn. In 1950, North Korea invaded the South, sparking a brutal three-year war that ended in stalemate, not peace. The demilitarized zone became the world's most fortified border. The US pledged to defend South Korea, cementing its military presence. Technically, the war never ended. Just an armistice, not a treaty. This unresolved conflict haunts the region, fueling every new crisis. The scars of division run deep, shaping every decision today. The ghost of war lingers, never far from the surface. The standoff changed forever when North Korea pursued nuclear weapons. Driven by paranoia and the doctrine of Juche, the Kim dynasty sees nukes as survival itself. After secret development and broken deals, North Korea's first nuclear test in 2006 shocked the world. Since then, Pyongyang has rapidly advanced its arsenal. More tests, more powerful bombs and missiles that can reach South Korea, Japan, and even the US. Each launch is a calculated message, defiance, leverage, and a warning. Past attacks like the shelling of Yeonpyeong Island prove Pyongyang's willingness to use force. Now the threat is real and growing, making today's drills more urgent than ever. The nuclear shadow looms over every decision. Ulchi Freedom Shield 2025 is more than a drill. It's a massive multi-domain operation. US, South Korean, and Japanese forces coordinate on land, sea, air, space, and cyber fronts. Japan's participation marks a new era of trilateral cooperation, driven by shared threats. The goal: deterrence and readiness. The Allies want Kim Jong Un to see the cost of aggression. These exercises turn alliance promises into visible power, practicing everything from missile defense to leadership decapitation scenarios. This year's focus countering North Korea's nuclear and missile capabilities. The scale is a direct response to Pyongyang's record missile tests. After years of smaller drills and failed diplomacy, the Allies are betting on maximum pressure. The hope? Restore credible deterrence and force North Korea to reconsider its path. The message is unmistakable: unity and strength against any threat. For North Korea, these drills are not defense. They're a threat to survival. State media denounces the exercises as acts of war, fueling a siege mentality among its people. Pyongyang responds with its own shows of forced missile launches, artillery drills, and fiery rhetoric. Each launch is both defiance and technical progress, refining their arsenal under the cover of crisis. The drills give North Korea political justification to advance its weapons program. Internally, the regime uses the threat to demand loyalty and justify hardship. The Kim dynasty frames itself as the nation's only protector, rallying the population against external enemies. The cycle is self-reinforcing: drills provoke launches, launches justify more drills. For Pyongyang, every exercise is a test of resolve, and a chance to tighten its grip at home. The peninsula remains locked in a dangerous pattern. Each side's moves feed the other's fears. Do these drills keep the peace or push the region closer to war? Supporters say deterrence works, strength prevents North Korean aggression. The alliance's readiness is a visible warning. Any attack will be met with overwhelming force. Without these exercises, they argue, Pyongyang might risk a limited strike, misjudging Allied resolve. Critics counter that the drills provoke North Korea, fueling its paranoia and weapons programs. The cycle of escalation, drills, then missile tests, raises the risk of miscalculation. With so many troops and weapons in close proximity, a single mistake could trigger disaster. Some call for dialogue and de-escalation, fearing that constant pressure only makes North Korea more dangerous. The debate rages on deterrence or provocation, insurance or invitation to conflict. The answer may decide the peninsula's fate. For millions in South Korea and Japan, these military drills are not just distant news, they are deeply personal, woven into the fabric of daily life. Every siren, every headline, and every government announcement is a reminder of the fragile peace that hangs over their cities. In Seoul, life continues under the ever-present shadow of North Korean artillery. Residents go about their routines, but there's a constant undercurrent, a mix of resilience, vigilance, and anxiety. Emergency shelters dot neighborhoods, and families quietly discuss evacuation plans just in case. Many South Koreans support the drills, viewing them as essential for protection and a necessary show of strength. For them, these exercises are a way to demonstrate unity and readiness in the face of uncertainty. Yet, others worry that the exercises might provoke the North, escalating tensions further. They long for dialogue and peaceful solutions, hoping that one day, confrontation can give way to understanding and reconciliation. The memory of past attacks lingers, shaping public opinion. Hopes for reunification remain strong, especially among older generations who remember a time before division. In Japan, North Korean missile launches have triggered real fear. These threats have driven public support for a stronger military and closer ties with the United States, as many see these alliances as crucial for national security. Still, Japan's pacifist tradition runs deep, fueling passionate debate about the risks of deeper military involvement. Many citizens worry about losing the peace that has defined post-war Japan. Both societies are divided, torn between the fear of war and the enduring hope for peace. Families discuss the future with uncertainty, trying to balance caution with optimism. The drills serve as a daily reminder of what's at stake, reinforcing the reality that peace is fragile and must be actively protected. Ordinary people live with uncertainty, caught between the weight of history and the hope for a safer future. Every day brings new challenges and questions about what tomorrow might hold. Their resolve is tested with every siren, every breaking news alert, and every new development in the region. Yet they continue to adapt, finding strength in community and shared experience. The human cost of this ongoing standoff is measured not just in anxiety, but also in hope. The hope that one day peace will prevail and future generations will live free from fear. The crisis on the Korean Peninsula isn't just a regional standoff between North and South Korea, or a simple contest involving the US and Japan. China and Russia are deeply invested in the outcome, each with their own interests and anxieties shaping the region's future. For China, North Korea is a complicated neighbor, both a strategic ally and a persistent liability that brings headaches to Beijing's doorstep. Beijing's top priority is stability. It fears the collapse of North Korea could send waves of refugees across the border and potentially lead to a unified Korea allied with the United States, right on China's frontier. When the US and South Korea conduct military drills, China sees more than just a deterrent to Pyongyang. It views these exercises as part of a broader American strategy to contain China's growing influence in East Asia, heightening its own sense of insecurity. Publicly, China calls for calm and urges all sides to show restraint, presenting itself as a responsible global actor. But behind closed doors, Chinese officials worry about the chaos that could erupt if North Korea destabilizes, especially the prospect of millions of desperate refugees flooding into China. Russia, while less directly involved, also opposes a strong US military presence in the region. Moscow often aligns with Beijing, joining in condemnation of the joint military exercises and supporting North Korea diplomatically. Recent reports of North Korean arms shipments to Russia have only deepened the divide, reviving memories of Cold War-era alliances and rivalries that once split the world. At the United Nations, China and Russia frequently use their veto power to shield North Korea from harsher sanctions and international pressure, undermining global efforts to rein in Pyongyang's ambitions and in turn emboldening North Korea to continue its provocative actions. The Korean Peninsula has become a flashpoint in a much larger global rivalry, where local tensions are magnified by the ambitions and fears of great powers. Every missile test, every military drill is more than just a show of force. It's a calculated move in a high-stakes game with each side watching and reacting to the other. The risk of escalation is real, and it extends far beyond Korea's borders, threatening to draw in nations from across the globe and reshape the balance of power in the 21st century. As Ulchi Freedom Shield continues, the future is uncertain. North Korea will likely keep up its missile diplomacy, raising the risk of miscalculation. The world watches for signs of escalation. Another nuclear test could trigger a major crisis. One path is uneasy stability. Deterrence holds, both sides avoid open conflict, and the cycle continues. Another is a diplomatic breakthrough. Though hopes are slim, denuclearization remains a distant goal. The stakes are global. A conflict here would involve nuclear powers and devastate the world economy. The drills and tests are more than headlines. They're the latest chapter in a dangerous story. The hope is for stability, not catastrophe. The next moves are unwritten and the world holds its breath. The Korean Peninsula's fate remains uncertain, watched by all.